In this episode, I finished the build, I will show you some trickery and some behind the scenes. Stay tuned!
Hello YouTubians and fellow hobbyists. In this episode I built a 570 horsepower German super sports car. Of course, I give him my own little spin. The modern 6-liter V8 was very refreshing to build for me since I'm usually build engines of an older time period. With these new engines you can't really see what's going on since everything is electronic based. That's why I love me an old American V8, not younger than 40 years. A modern sports car takes as much as possible from the racing track and involves that. So for example, the belly of the car is smooth as possible. The complete drivetrain is moved in the interior. This kit represents that really well. The interior parts are really super nice too. My favorites? The seats. I wanted to give the Revell watercolors a chance because in some Revell kits you can find them and they are not so bad. The container seems to be very sturdy and not that easy to tip over. The paint itself is a bit thick, so I thinned it with window cleaner. When you paint with a brush you might end up with some clouds, so brighter and some darker spots, which comes to your advantage on some materials like the aluminum block from an engine. For the purpose to holding parts, I love to use this little trick with painter's tape. The bound is not too strong, yet strong enough to brush on with the paint of your choice. Some parts need to be spray painted for a smoother look, in my opinion. The primer comes out of spray can and the other parts get colors with an airbrush. I gave the parts an overnight drying time and continued with some detail painting. Washes are always a good idea to give your model parts more depth. Here I use a strong diluted water-based color. But I use this technique also for pre-shading, for example with this leather pocket. After all parts were detailed, it was time to add some decals. I use hot tap water and keep it hot with this aroma lamp, which keeps the water hot but not boiling. I use 3 different solutions for this purpose. Revell Decal Soft for easy jobs with thin decals. Tamiya Mark Fix if they are a bit more stubborn and thick. And my magic superpower, lacquer thinner, but varning. This is a very dangerous way because lacquer thinner eats your decals alive in front of your eyes if you use it poor. Therefore, mix 1% into your Mark Fix or any other decal softener and try on some extra decals off from the sheet. You can go up with the ratio, but again, be very careful. A last check where the decals need to go, and I was ready to cut them out. The warm water really helps to keep the decals soft. Even it always looks very easy on the video, the reality looks quite different. For close-ups I need enough light and the camera really close. So my arms have to go almost like snakes around all those obstacles. My sight is very limited, and the hardest part of all? Man, I could not even wear my hat. But regardless of all of that, I managed to get it done, and as last step I put some UV resin in the gauges. Next up was preparing the body for the paint job. The even coat of primer made it easy to spot all the mold lines and imperfections. A very soft pencil helped also a lot to further mark them out. For a long time I used straight wooden popsicle sticks for this kind of job. I glued on some sanding paper with the hope to get everything completely straight. But for convex surfaces, it is better to use some sanding paper glued on a sponge, because the sponge will follow the contour way better. Those spots were then again sprayed with primer, and the complete body was wet sanded until 7000 grit. For the main color I chose black, and I wanted to give some golden accents. Now that all parts were painted and detailed, it was just a matter of gluing all the parts together. First the engine in the chassis, next the wheel housing and the wheels. The interior was glued together, and finally the marriage between body and the chassis. The Mercedes SLS from AMG. AMG. These three letters are a standard for luxury, perfection and high performance. And with this 2009 first public viewed piece of art, they proved to be one of the world's finest car designer. I never saw one with this color scheme, but in my humble opinion, it is the perfect aesthetic for this car. Black gives her an elegant look and the gold a hint of luxury. Of course, only because it looks posh. That does not mean this car is not ready to compete in a racing situation. The weight distribution is 47% on the front axle and almost perfect, which benefits cornering and traction. The aluminum lightweight is with a bit over 300 pounds and a torque of 750 Nm, a real beast. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds and a top speed of 200 miles per hour makes this beauty a grown-up toy without competition. Alright, final thoughts on the build. Well, the kit comes with moving gullwing doors, really cool seats and super nice rims. The only issue was for me the mounting of the dashboard. It fits really tight and you need some brutal force to even push it on its place. Overall, I did enjoy the build a lot, and I'm looking forward to my next project, which will be the eggplane group build. So, thanks for stopping by, have fun with all your builds, and I'll see you on the web. Bye all!